Today, I'm fishing for a fish that is often overlooked, but I'm here to say probably one of my favourites of all time. Morning, Scotty.
Hey, Paul. How you going, mate?
Always a pleasure.
Let's go catch a big flathead.
Let's go nail 'em. Got him?
Yep.
Right on the weed.
Yeah, right on the edge. That's the secret, is getting it up there in that.
So they'll be in that weed and come out, will they?
They'll be on the sand.
Yep.
And all the bait fish are hiding in the weed. And you can imagine the current's moving them from one spot to the other, so they race from one bit of weed to the next. And
Just
if there's a
hiding
flathead in there,
Oh, it's a nice
waiting,
fish, mate.
Yeah, nice little
Oh, little.
dusky.
Hang on. Enough of the little. It's beautiful.
Might need a bigger net.
Well, yeah, is that the? Oh, that'll do us, mate. It's only your fish.
Yes.
What I found is, if you use really small nets, it makes your fish look really, really big. Do we have a bigger net? Right. There you go. One dusky flathead in the bait net. Go, Scotty. So, Scotty, I assume that's probably your average fish for the system.
Yeah, it certainly is. Look at the colours. Like, just you can see when you're going over these cockle beds and stuff, and they just camouflage in against the weed beds. We caught that one right up against the weed.
Yep.
So he'd be waiting for little bait fish to swim from weed bank to weed bank, and he just pounces on them. Get your plastic right in there.
Now, you say a he, but we don't know if it's a he or a she, do we?
We don't.
Let's assume it's a girl, and those girls, they can carry anywhere from 300,000 to 3.9 million eggs. So very important we put them back. Very, very solid, mate.
Yeah.
And a very good start.
In New South Wales, you're only allowed to keep one over 70 centimetres, so
Yep.
that promotes, good fish biology. We're going to let this one go in a minute. It'll go away if it's a female, lay all those eggs we were talking about. We'll have heaps more next year.
Well, this one's having a swim, and then it's going back.
How's that, Paul?
Sensational, mate.
Yeah, shallow water flathead. We'll let him go back in there where he came from.
And he's just going to sit on the bottom and sulk.
Yep.
There he goes. Oh,
We'll catch him again tomorrow.
exactly. He's hiding under the yammy.
Oh, I'm on, Paul. Feels okay. Right on the edge of that weed. See the little hole there? Just chuck my plastic into the hole.
Mate, there's some big fish knocking around these flats. I reckon these flathead would be fairly fat.
Yeah,
There's a nice fish.
not a bad one.
Very nice.
Get him in there, mate.
The amount of whiting and brim that I've seen kicking around, and the bait, just mind-blowing. Look at that. Now, if you grab the flathead by the jaw and you're very careful, you don't get too much flathead hand. Look at that, as I was saying. Look at the size of the guts on that thing. That is one very, very fat fish. Now, you don't have a slot limit in New South Wales, mate?
No, only one over 70 centimetres.
Yep.
You can see your thumb there where he's chewed on it. That's a
Yes.
sign of a good summer up here on the Central Coast.
Yes, when you got the old flathead thumb, you know you've had a good summer.
Yep.
And again, average sort of fish, when I say average in size, not in nature, just beautiful. And there's going to be stacks of these, but we're looking for a big girl, aren't we?
We are, and just look at the colours. You can see how they just blend in everywhere.
The camouflage is amazing. These things, there's something special about them. First fish I ever caught was a flathead, and I've never looked back. Yep, got him. Oh, that's some nice weight, Scotty. Oh, this could be a very solid fish.
In that little sandy patch there.
Yeah, it is amazing. With the spotters, you can just see all the sandy patches coming through here. They're like little highways for all the bait that comes through, and it's such a good place for predators to lurk. And that is a beautiful flathead. It's interesting, he's actually got a bit of weed on him, and that's because he's been sitting right in there. And that is a lovely, lovely fish. And it's awesome the amount of colours that come through these fish. Even a bit of blue on the tail there. And this is a dusky flathead, and dusky flathead are the largest species of flathead in Australia. Believe it or not, they grow to over 1.3 metres. That would look like a crocodile. Flathead fishing seems to appeal to such a wide audience. I was saying my first fish ever, a flathead in Port Phillip Bay, just loved it, had me hooked. And you can make it as easy or as difficult as you like. This plastics fishing is pretty easy, but it is still a bit sensitive in the technique. Oh, I thought I had a little bite then. It's simply a matter of letting it hit the bottom, bit of a lift, and then back up. Hit the bottom, quick lift and up. And what you want is that plastic just to bounce off the bottom, swim back down again. Flathead lay on the bottom, they'll look up, as they do right now, and they'll hook up, and Scotty will show us how it works. Well done, mate.
Yeah, he piled on it there, and Just let it sit there, Paul, and you come back and hit it again.
Another nice
Go.
fish.
Yeah,
I
same
tell you what,
as-
they're consistent.
yeah, good size.
That is a beauty.
Yep. Oh, he's got that plastic right in his gob there, mate. I might just
Mate, you swing up to me. Just keep swinging.
him around that,
That's a
mate.
really solid fish. What a beautiful, beautiful fish. Look at the way he's actually changing colour as we lead him along. Now, and you see that? That's how they saw you off in that light fluorocarbon. They shake the head like that, razor sharp teeth through there. I'm going to see if I can just gently comfort lift him. Look at that. Nothing but net. So nearly 50 species of flathead in Australia.
Yep.
And you're telling me they get them overseas too?
Yeah, South America. And you'll see the spots on his tail here and the lines.
Yep.
Some flathead species are so hard to tell the difference between each one that they go on these spots and dots here. Count these dots. This is a dusky. And you'll see the difference in the colour from the ones we've caught this morning. So people might think they're catching a different species. It's actually the same. It can change colour. But they count these dots here. And that's one of the good ways of telling each species apart.
There you go. Well, this is the dusky. They grow the biggest. I think the blue spot's one of my favourites. And the ugliest, the fringe flathead. It ain't a good look.
All right, let's get this one back in the water quick smart, eh?
So I've tried a heap of different plastics today. I'm going to give the squidgy 140mm bloodworm wriggler a go. These lures are just dynamite. The thing I love about them, they catch a small brim, but they'll catch a monster flathead or a Jew as well. Oh, yeah, that's a big fish. That is solid. How's the bend in that rod, mate?
I might have to get after him here, mate.
Woohoo!
Bit of electric.
Now that was a long cast, and what we found, this wind's good. We're actually using the wind to help us a bit. Big long cast across the flats. That's amazing, mate. This fish has come out of some very, very shallow water.
Yeah. It's
I don't know.
amazing how this time of day, even right up in the shallow water, you catch those big fish.
That is awesome. Now I've got a big bend in this rod. It's a little Zodius, and this reel, Shimano Stratic CI4 1000. I went the 1000, something a bit different, 5 pound fins braid, and haven't seen the fish, mate. There's a lot of weight, and it's down deep. Come on. Maybe he's wrapped, because there is a serious, oh, there we, oh, it's a beautiful frog.
I don't like the size of this net.
Look at that. Yeah, baby. That is a real one, and he has totally engulfed that plastic.
How's the blue on his tail
Oh,
there?
look at it. That is incredible. And I'm a bit scared about my 8 pound fluorocarbon leader, mate.
Just get him to come head first, mate, if you
Yep,
can.
I'll
eh?
try and just slowly let, whoa, that's a big fish.
Ooh.
Oh. I'll
Yeah,
see you
it's all
around here,
this
mate.
way, mate.
And here we go. Here we
You
go.
get a
He's
bigger net.
going to come straight to you. Head first. Hey! We've just measured this fish, 70 centimetres of flathead, mate.
I love it when a plan comes together.
How good is that? Getting a bit later in the afternoon, bit of wind, didn't stop this guy. And they say these fish are implosion feeders. Look at that. That was my squidgy 140mm wriggler, all the way down there, and that leader, mate, snapped the second it came in the boat.
Oh, we were lucky. We just
Sometimes you got a bit of
got
luck.
him there.
And that is just a beautiful fish, and these things, they call them lizards, they call them crocodiles. Imagine that thing laying on the bottom, little mullet swimming past.
This would be a female, hey?
It would.
Big enough?
Yep.
Yep. And a good breeder. How many eggs do we...
Anywhere up to 3.9 million.
That's a lot of babies.
I'm loving it. Well, the only thing to do is put this big girl back, and believe it or not, they grow a lot bigger than that, which is absolutely mind-blowing. See you, dude? Look at that. A little bit spent, cruising back with the tide, and away he goes. That is a good feeling. Thank you, my friend.
No worries, mate. Pleasure.
About every 30 casts, I'm putting some more squidgy S-Factor on my plastic. This stuff, absolutely brilliant, masks human odour, and I actually reckon it attracts fish. Just helps them handle that plastic a little bit longer. It's great stuff.
Oh, that's a nice one.
Just thought I'd cast the big heavy plastic out and see what happened.
In that deep side of the hole, hey?
And I reckon it's important sometimes too, just to have, even though people always say with a plastic, try and use the smallest lead possible.
Yep.
Sometimes I just like that really big lead to go clunk on the bottom, just so the flathead knows you're there.
Stir up the sand.
Yeah, and in this wind too, mate, I think it's nice to actually feel that clunk.
Oh, there's a lot of current here too. So we're going to
Yeah.
need a net for this one, hey?
I think we're gonna, are we gonna get the big net?
I think we might invest in a bigger net
Can you
tomorrow.
remind me to buy you a new net and post it?
Thanks, mate.
This has got some big head shakes. This could be a really serious fish. Look at the way he's holding down the current. Oh yeah, he's a nice fish. Look at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That is just sensational. Look at that, and absolutely pinned, smack bang in the corner. And with these big flathead, I'm doing this to show you, but you should try and keep your head in the waters. When you pull it out like I just did, they tend to shake. Good luck with that net, mate.
Thanks. How about we just grab the jig?
I think that's a good idea.
Lift him in like that. There we go.
Oh yes, babe, just straight up on here, mate, straight up. Oh, and there we go again. That is what I call a serious flathead. How's the noise? Well, I can't believe it, Scotty. We've measured this fish, 70 centimetres again, but it's
Yep.
fatter, isn't it?
Oh yeah, this is probably a female, eh? You have to look at the girth there through the belly.
Yep.
And you've got to think what a great fishery it is on the Central Coast here. And we've caught some nice fish today, just constantly through the day, doesn't matter, change of the tide, we've moved up and down the estuary and fishing these little banks with the deep holes. Quality fish, Central Coast, gotta love it.
Unbelievable. I mean, seriously, it's 70 centimetres. Anyone will want to catch this flathead, but tell me, I'm going to give this fish a swim. Tell us, what is the biggest flathead you've seen here? Tell us about some of the monsters.
96 last year was my biggest one, but I have seen guys here catch them way over a metre. This estuary system here is just fantastic fishing for those big females.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, this fish is just way too valuable to the resource to take home. So I'm going to put it back. Just a little swim in the current. These things really are slobs when you get them go. They just sink down, then sit on the bottom. But we've been swimming this fish the whole time. Let that grip out. Turn it in the current, look at that, and away it goes. What a beautiful, beautiful fish. Seriously, can't tell you how much I love flathead. Well, Scotty, a cracker day. I think it's safe to say you live in a very special part of the world.
Yeah, 1 hour from Sydney. Great flathead fishing, isn't it?
Unbelievable, those flathead, they were just coming over thick and fast. Remember, Central Coast, Scotty Thorrington, Haven Sport Fishing, he is the man.